And counting us into the audio in three, two, one.
All right, welcome to episode 138 of the Narcissistic Music Disorder.
Good afternoon, Scott. This is a little. Usually we do these shows in the morning, so I plan to be even more focused and cat-like in my delivery. So what's new, Scott? Anything good?
Well, today we have my friend Jake Davies. I've been talking to Jake and Luke since I was good. I was telling John earlier, Jake, he asked me how I found out about you guys, and I told him the way I found you guys was I was looking for Elvis covers of like rock bands doing Elvis covers, and I found Viva Las Vegas, and then I bought nicotine, and I bought everything else since then. Talked to you guys about Jake about or Luke about jazz and everything else. So I've been following you guys. I got you designed one of
Which
our
is killer. Which
stickers,
is
and
just killer, by the way.
so
Well, I didn't even remember designing the sticker, but yeah, Viva Las Vegas. Love that one. I don't think I will ever do a better vocal performance on a song in my life than that one. That one I'm very proud of.
That might be my favorite Elvis tune, to be honest with you. I mean, it's up there for me. It's a great tune. Even though I love In the Ghetto too.
yeah.
When that song Viva Las Vegas is, I think it's on like some game, like Just Dance or something for one of those game systems. And around here we call it Piva Las Vegas because when my son was little, he'd be like, "Play Piva Las Vegas." So that's what we call it here.
I can't say I'm a big fan of the original one with its very polka. Ding,
Yeah.
ding, 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 ding. Not really into that personally, but yeah, we took it and gave it a different time signature, all different melodies, a completely different vibe. And to me, it's much more of a now taking the same lyrics and using it in a sarcastic manner about Vegas. Because I'm not a big fan of Vegas myself.
I've never been, nor do I plan.
So Jake and Luke are from Melbourne, Australia.
Oh, nice.
When did you guys move here, Jake?
Oh shit, must have been 15 years ago now.
15? Okay.
Yeah. I think he got here about 10 years ago and I've been here for about 15.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
So what was we've never really talked to a guest from another country about what was record buying like of American stuff in Australia? How was it easy to find or harder to find?
Exactly the same, dude. I mean,
Is it?
Well, yeah. Before the streaming age, etc. You guys had Tower Records and Wow and stuff like that out here where you'd go, Virgin Records, whatever. We had one in Australia called JB Hi-Fi. JB Hi-Fi still exists, but I'm actually not even sure what they sell anymore. I doubt they sell CDs very much. I doubt they sell DVDs because everybody's streaming everything. So I'm not really sure what JB Hi-Fi still even sells in there. Maybe TV
Vinyl again, maybe.
and sound equipment would be my guess. But yeah, we would just go into a local store, and yeah, they had all American music that you would want.
What, Jake, what was your growing up like? What was your go-to stuff? What were you really into?
Started playing guitar around 10 and really loved Nirvana first.
Killer.
And through Nirvana, that kind of brought me into Alice in Chains and then Metallica, and then later teenage years, much heavier metal, but definitely have sat around the Alice in Chains sphere pretty heavily for most of my life.
What out of all those, the bands of that era too, I just Alice in Chains was probably for me, and I wasn't a huge, and I'm sorry to use the term grunge. I don't want to offend anyone, but I wasn't a huge fan of all of that genre, but I really liked being grown up like a metal dude. Of course, I could hear Black Sabbath and Soundgarden. I loved Alice in Chains. Just those harmonies, those cool vocal harmonies they always had.
Yeah.
Which when that vocal, that interval of vocal harmony is, I remember like when Motley Crue did their record with John Corabi. they were going for that Lane and Jerry Cantrell harmonies, man, which were cool and which were confusing too, because I mean, you would almost say Jerry Cantrell was the singer in Alice in Chains as much as Lane Staley was. How they kind of worked those parts.
Writer.
What's
Jerry,
that?
Jerry was definitely the main writer of most of it, but yeah, I mean, Lane had a hell of a voice.
Yeah, I wonder who wrote those melodies, if that's Lane or Jerry.
Jerry primarily.
Yeah, very cool stuff. Well, what do you think, Scott? Should we fire up and dive into our so just to kind of keep everyone up to date, what we do here is we pick in this case, we're going to do some songs, albums, it doesn't matter, but we have a rock song, a pop song, a country song, an R&B or rap song, and then an NMD pick, which is kind of just your obscure, your weird, whatever, kind of fringy thing you're into. So let's let our guest open us up. Jake, what was your pick for your rock song?
I'm doing this on the fly right now, but
nice.
we're gonna say "Wood" by Alice in Chains. Or do you want something that nobody's heard before?
No, dude. That's perfect. That's okay. Perfect. Wood's
I got something that nobody's heard before, but we'll save that for the last one then.
Right, there you go. Perfect. Yeah, so let's think about that. Wood is on Dirt, right? Yeah.
It was also on the single soundtrack.
Did they play that in the movie?
I think so, yeah.
I've actually never seen that movie. How strange is that?
It's pretty good, actually. And there's some great music.
Fantastic.
Great music. Yeah, soundtrack's great. I'm trying to think of if my son's band played Wood. I don't know if they may have.
It's about Andrew Wood.
I didn't know that.
I didn't know that either.
Yep.
Wow. Yeah, that's obviously Mother Love Bone's probably my favorite Seattle band of all time. And I definitely, there's just the other thing is about Wood and about Alice in Chains too, I think is and I'm gonna get Sean's, I think his name is Sean Kinney. Does that sound right?
Yes,
the drummer?
The drummer, yeah.
He's killer, man. He's got some killer parts. And he, all of what is it? Is it them Bones is in like 6'8" or something. It's just really cool stuff. And he's got a good feel. He's got, the complexity of even like Wood, the kind of Rolly Tom thing. And I also saw him one time playing live, and he I think it was an Angry Chair at the end of Angry Chair. He bounced a stick off the rim of his rack tom, and that son of a bitch sailed to like the middle of this theater. Whap! And it just went, it was killer, man. And he looked killer when he played. And Wood's a great tune. Dirt's. What's your favorite Alice in Chains record, Jake? Is it Dirt?
That would be Dirt for sure. Wood, I remember I heard it on the radio in Australia as a kid, and it was out at the same time as Sir Mix-a-Lot. I like Big Butts. They were both like fighting for top spot on the radio, and I got a tape, a little old cassette tape, and recorded Wood off the radio the next night. And I must have wore that tape out, dude, because I listened to that thing nonstop. I believe honestly that Wood is the song that inspired me to like rock music, and then eventually make rock music.
Wow. Yeah. Have you seen him live, Jake?
I have seen Jerry play, but I was not around while Lane was alive.
Yeah. Did you see him, Scott?
I did not. Nope.
I saw him at Tiger Stadium in '96.
Oh, with Kiss.
Opening for Kiss. And it was it finally, like in the last year, maybe, some footage of that show has come up on YouTube. And as I recalled, and I was right, I was a big Alice in Chains fan then. We were covering whatever, Man in the Box or CSRO or something like that. So I knew them and I was into them. It was not a great show. I mean, they sounded good, but Lane we were getting to the kind of tail end because he was just frozen, man. He just never moved off the stand. He looked kind of lost, They were great. The band before them was a local, they're national, but the band Sponge, and they were really good and they were hungry. Obviously Kiss and Makeup was Kiss and Makeup. I'd waited since junior high school for that. But yeah, they were. It was kind of sad to see because I always thought Lane Staley was a pretty dynamic front man. And the other thing I just saw today on TikTok or one of these things is the clip of Sean Kinney and Jerry Cantrell watching Eddie Van Halen sound check
Nice.
on that tour they did
Oh
with
yeah.
opening for dude, Eddie Van Halen. They're way back at the board, and someone's got a camera, and Eddie opens up with some big thing, and Cantrell turns around and goes, "I have to play after this. like I got to play before this and after this." It was killer. So great. What do you got, Scott? What's your rock pick?
From the album Change by Richie Kotzen, the song Shine.
That was that like a single for him, dude?
Yeah, I think a single for Mr. Big.
Yes, it was. You're right. You're right.
So,
I
but I
like
like
Kotzen.
Richie's version. I just never was a big Eric Martin fan, the singer from Mr. Big.
Probably too
The
poppy
cleaner
for you,
voice,
too clean.
the cleaner voice guys I wasn't into.
He was more like a Journey type singer.
Yeah,
He's from
Journey.
Frisco.
I think I only know that one song. I'm the one who wants to.
Yeah.
Yep.
Beautiful tune. Great melodic tune. Pretty chordally cool. Great vocal harmonies. They could all sing, which was really cool back then. No bands back like in quote unquote the hair band days. Very few could sing. They'd have those big choruses on their records, and then you'd see them live and nobody'd sing them or they'd be canned. The Mr. Big dudes could all sing. Even Paul Gilbert, some monster guitar player who can sing. Yeah.
Yeah, that Change record by Richie Kotzen is fantastic. If that's one that I would recommend someone to start with if they were not into Richie.
I would recommend Motherhead's Family Reunion.
Yep.
So we'll disagree.
That's his Southern rock record. Yeah.
Well, I thought Motherhead's Family Reunion sounded almost more like a
Black Crowes
or a Lenny Kravitz record.
Yep.
Yeah, killer. So I did albums, but I'm going to pick a song off the album. My rock pick was the Replacements album. Tim, I'll probably pick. I don't know, man. I'm going to pick Waitress in the Sky.
That's a great song.
Which is kind of Westerberg's take on stewardesses. You're just a waitress in the sky. And it's also got Bastards of Young, which was the song that got them, where they played it on Saturday Night Live and they were all hammered drunk. And I just watched that recently too. What a fucking train wreck, man. But that's what I expected of them. Like I didn't expect, you wouldn't expect Slash to come out and, prop one foot up on one of those classical guitar things either, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, so I'll go with the Replacements. I'll do anything off Tim. So next is our pop pick, a pop song we're into. What do you got, Jake?
I'm going to say that the greatest party song of all time, like to get the energy up and to get people dancing and moving of all time, is Kylie Minogue, Can't Get You Out of My Head.
Oh, that's huge.
And we've had many a heavily inebriated night where we will try and compete with each other to come up with a better one, and we'll A and B it, and no matter what, A and B, Kylie Minogue always wins.
Always wins. That is everything. Hey, by the way, where's Kylie Minogue now? I have not heard much.
She's pretty old, and she had a cancer thing for a while. So.
Is that what it was?
Yeah, she's in her 50s now, and like probably late 50s, and she had a cancer thing, so I think she's been out of the loop for quite a bit. She
had an early section of her career, and then that most recent with that song, and it was almost like a two-parter. She kind of all of a sudden popped back up and was huge again, especially overseas.
Yeah.
And is one of those, I don't know, man, one of those, I guess I would say it, like a pop princess. There's the Madonnas and her and Beyonce before she went country and all of that stuff, which
country,
whatever you call
her, start by being a Australian soap opera TV star.
Oh, I didn't know that. Really?
Yeah, on a show called Neighbours, which is just like the sort of bottom of the barrel Australian soap opera that runs every night at about, I think, like 6:30 p.m. right after Simpsons or right before Simpsons.
Oh,
anyway, yeah. So that was her start, and then she just sort of transitioned it into that. I think Locomotion was her big breakout.
That's the song I was thinking of. Yeah. Which was great.
I was thinking that she did Physical, but she didn't. It's Locomotion. And
Right.
Then yeah, you're right. Another resurgence in like the early 2000s with the fucking spinning around where she's on her hot little ass and yeah, I can't get you out of my head. That was the ultimate though.
Wow, Australian soap opera. Isn't that where we got Rick Springfield from too? Wasn't he? No, he was an American. No.
Yeah, not Rick
He was
Springfield.
something in Australia, like a teen idol or something in Australia.
I think Natalie Imbruglia was also Australian soap opera star who became a singer.
Damn,
was she also from Neighbours or was she from Home and Away? There's two main soap operas in Australia, Home and Away. And
okay.
I think she was probably Neighbours. Natalie Imbruglia, though, now talking about hot, she is the ultimate.
Yeah.
Yes, I would agree.
Daniel John Silverchair was married to her for a while.
Oh, really? Okay.
Oh, wow.
Huh.
Scott, what's your pop pick?
My pop pick is a power pop from the band Imperial Drag.
Oh, yeah.
I'll go with the song Spider from them. It's about a drug dealer. But that record, that he put it out right after Jellyfish went away. You know, it's Eric Dover. It's
Who
Roger
does everything?
Manning.
Eric Dover does all sorts. He was singing with Slash's Snake Pit, wasn't he?
The first record, on 5 o'clock somewhere. Yeah. It's Eric Manning, Eric Manning, Robert Joseph Manning on keys, and then Joseph Carnes on bass, Eric Scotus on drums. Joseph Carnes also plays with Fitz and the Tantrums.
Oh yeah, I've heard of that band.
They're like if you know Neon Trees, they're like them.
Dude, I could use Neon Trees as my pop band because I love
Everybody Talks.
Yes, that's a great tune, man. Yeah. It's well put together. It's catchy.
Fitz and the Tantrums is a lot like Neon Trees.
Oh, I might check that out. Well, I'm way off. My pop pick is way off your guys's. But I used the album Sports by Huey Lewis and the News.
Oh, yeah.
But my jam off that, I don't know, would probably be I Want a New Drug. I think that's a great tune.
That's a cool line. Never heard the song. It's a good line.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Killer tune.
85, probably, John.
I'm guessing. You know, they were like one of those bands that popped out. They were like one of those really killer live bar bands. You know, they had a sax player, couple guitars. They were kind of that, you know, but they'd really kind of honed their shit. I think Huey Lewis played harmonica on like a Thin Lizzy album or something.
Yeah,
he was that dude. He was playing harmonica on sessions. And
they really got big with the soundtrack songs with like Back to the Future and stuff.
Right. What was that? Power of Love, right? That's
Power of Love, and then Back in Time or something like that.
Yeah. They were kind of like Huey Lewis was kind of the everyman. You know what I mean? He was just a dude. He was just this kind of dude with his rock band and who happened to make it. And he seemed to fit MTV well back then, you know, all those videos. They were clever.
Yeah, he didn't look like a rock singer. He looked like a friend of your dad's.
Exactly. Well, I wore something the other night and my kid said to me, we were going out to watch a band and he's like, you look like a guidance counselor, man. Which was a great burn. And then I smacked him in his little face.
Nice.
All right. So now we've moved on to our country category. You got anything, Jake? Jake is.
Yeah, I'm not the biggest, deepest country knowledgeable guy. I love Chris Stapleton, but I'm gonna go with Wheeler Walker Jr. Born to Fuck. I think
that guy is hilarious.
Yeah, he is hilarious. I think the opening line of that song is probably the greatest opening line I've ever heard in any song in history. Because came out my mama's pussy with my dick in my hand. I love that.
And country music was born.
Yeah. Wheeler Walker, man, that guy. When he did that skit, when he did that show on Comedy Central, the Ben Show, he started doing the Wheeler Walker character there. And he did a song called "Eating Pussy and Kicking Ass."
Nice.
And then I don't know. He's buddies with Sam Outlaw, who I've talked about a lot.
Yep.
The guy that plays, his name's Ben something, but Wheeler Walker's his country character.
That's cool.
That.
He's also got a great song called "Fuck You with the Lights On."
Like that too. My girlfriend loves the fuck this job or whatever.
Yep.
She hates working her job, so yeah, she throws that one on in the car when she's in LA traffic.
Firing up for the day for sure. All right, Scott, what's your country pick?
Kevin Fowler. He
You know,
has
I know that name.
he's a country guy from Texas, a guitar player who started out as the touring guitarist for Dangerous Toys.
Shut your face. Really?
Yes, he was a touring guitarist, live guitarist for Dangerous Toys. He never played on a record,
Oh
but he
shit.
played touring.
Huh. Wow, that's
Oh
pretty cool.
yeah. But he wrote this song that got popular in the 90s called Beer Bait and Ammo. Sammy Kershaw did it.
I remember that dude.
Yeah, but Kevin Fowler just writes tons of great drinking songs and fun ass party songs. He's awesome.
Nice.
Well, my country pick was an album called Live at Roberts by a band called BR549.
Yes.
My song off that, what would it be? I mean, there was so many. I'll pick Me and Opie Down by the Duck Pond.
I knew you were gonna pick that one.
You did? So I really like this. I really like BR549. And for people who don't know BR549, they're kind of like a true country hillbilly type band, hollow body, acoustic hollow body guitar, this Gretsch stand-up bass, and then their kind of secret weapon. I can't think of his last name. Don. He played steel, stand-up, non-pedal steel, and fiddle. And then the song "Me and Opie Down by the Duck Pond" is about this dude and his buddy Opie from the Andy Griffith Show smoking reefer
weed
down by the pond, right?
Yep.
And this Live at Roberts record was recorded at Roberts Western Wear on Lower Broadway in Nashville, which you walk into Roberts and right now it's kind of known as it's sort of the breeding ground for the hottest guitar player in Nashville will be in the house band there. And it's been JD Simo, you name it. Every great guitar player has come from there. But you walk in and it's a boot store. You can buy boots right there on the wall, or they'll have music all day long. Nashville is like that all day long. So the sign for years said home of BR549. My classic story is when we opened for them, I was so excited and checked out, we opened and then I saw their set. And my wife tells a story. We played this club that had a video screen above the stage. You remember the old intersection, Scott?
Yeah.
Well, my wife said that she could see my cowboy hat kind of snaking through the crowd because me and Opie, they were going to play that. So I want to get up front for it. And she's like, you bumped into this girl. And I bumped into this girl and I started kind of dancing with her. This girl, like on screen, you can see her face like, get the fuck away from me. So I go up, we listen. On the way home, I pass out in the car and vomit down the side of the car all over myself. My wife, girlfriend at the time, stops at the gas station to get some, fucking tissues or what, and a bottle of water, and comes out, and I'm in my underwear in the parking lot, just standing there. Yeah, at like 2:00 in the morning. Yeah, BR549, classic country band. They sound like, what do you think, Scott? Like Hank Williams. I mean, they're like all of that early.
Go back, yeah.
All right, we're on to rap or R&B. What do you got, Jake?
We're gonna go off the top of my head here. We're gonna go Necro Head Split.
Wow.
Necro is a East Coast guy. I think it's his brother or his cousin's Ill Bill of Nonfiction. There was a whole East Coast white guy rap thing that happened for a while there. I don't know what you'd even call it, what kind of genre of rap you'd call it, but yeah, a Vinny Paz you might have heard of, Jedi Mind Tricks. Anyway, first thing in my head was Necro Head Split, so that's what we're doing.
Nice. Right. What about you, Scott?
Great guitar wah sort of beat to it.
Oh, really?
It's like a guitar wah riff that he created, and it's one of my favorite beats of all time.
Killer.
Nice.
Yeah.
Killer.
Make note of his hilarious lisp.
Oh.
Got a hilarious lisp.
Mine is you pretty much got to go with the whole record because it's a concept album, but it's from Maxwell's Urban Hang Suite.
Oh man,
One
I
of the
remember.
finest R&B albums ever put out, in my opinion.
What year, if you're guessing?
95-ish, probably.
About would that be like the Black Street era
Yeah, he
when
did
Black Street was out
MTV
and
Unplugged also.
oh yeah. I
Yeah,
almost
it's fantastic. I mean, it's a sexy time record.
easy. Nobody wants to hear that shit from you.
Speaking of concept albums, I know we've already had my choice or whatever, but I do want to throw this one out there. There's an album called Prince Among Thieves by Prince Paul, and the entire album from start to finish is one progressive story
Oh,
Oh,
about
cool.
nice.
two friends falling out and one of them like selling out the other one to the cops and all this kind of stuff, but goes through like skits in between songs and the songs themselves, the rapping all tell this one huge story, huge narrative with different rappers and different songs. It's pretty awesome.
Oh, cool.
Oh, killer.
Yeah.
That's pretty. What did I pick? I should also say after my country picks, I got scolded by Scott here a couple weeks ago because I was using a lot of Waylon Jennings for my country albums, and he said that everybody's gonna think I only own Waylon Jennings country records, which is not true. I believe my response was I don't care, but anyhow, my rap, I don't remember what my rap albums have been on previous shows, but I know I haven't used this one. It's NWA, but it's NWA and the Posse. It's like the first NWA record that came out before Straight Outta Compton. And it was like NWA, but then they had like some other Feel Fresh Crew had a song on it, and like the DOC. I don't think Dre or Cube had individual songs on it. Those were NWA tunes, but it was some of the first for me, it's the album, and I've told this story before, that I thought was like Weird Al Yankovic. I thought the shit was supposed to be comedy. I'm like, nobody's that raw. That shit doesn't happen in real life. And turned out I was wrong. But I literally thought they were trying to be funny. Like they were just trying to see how raw they could be. And it wasn't that at all. But yeah, NWA and the Posse, my favorite song on there, probably 8 Ball or Dope Man. Those are all good. Dope Man's a great song. And these songs would pop up like later on Eazy-E's solo album. A couple of them are on Straight Outta Compton. I'm trying to think of what the tune is. Woke up quick at about noon. Just thought that I had to be in Compton soon. It might be Dope Man. No, that's not it, is it? Woke up quick at about noon. Just thought I got to get drunk before my day begins. Before my mama starts bitching about my friends.
My friends.
What's that fucking song? Anyhow, NWA, and it was where I first that was my first exposure to gangsta rap. That wasn't and it wasn't. I got to choose my words carefully here. It wasn't like super socially conscious per se. You know what I mean? It wasn't global at all. It was about their neighborhood, you know?
Yeah.
And I just didn't, dude, I did not know. I did not. And then, obviously after the LA riots and what had gone down, I was like, holy shit, these guys have been, there's no comedy to it, right?
Nope.
When they're talking about, getting beat because I'm a teenager with a little bit of gold and a pager. I mean, that's that true shit. So yeah, NWA.
Yeah.
And finally, here's our this is our NMD pick. This is our obscure, something you're into, something that a lot of people don't know about. What do you got, Jake? What's something you would put on?
Glad I just thought of this one off the top of my head. When Luke first moved out here, and we were just getting drunk every night and playing music after, and the music started pouring out of us. He showed me this Australian band that long since has broken up, and God knows what they're all doing now. But this Australian band, Only the Sea Slugs, and you can find the main music video of the song Moon Park on YouTube. Only the Sea Slugs, Moon Park. And okay. If we hadn't heard that Moon Park song, don't know if we'd be making music today, because it was, I don't know, just got us real excited about music in general again, listening to that song a few times. And yeah, we just start jamming out after we've been drinking all night on 2nd Street in Long Beach. We come home, rock out, and listen to the voice memos that we recorded the next day. And we're like, wow, we've actually got something pretty cool here.
Oh, cool.
But definitely Moon Park was a inspirational aspect of that time in our lives.
Nice. What do you got, Scott? What's every pick of yours is NMD. Every pick you have is some weird ass obscure. It's never, it's never a really like journey.
Mine is a album called Hagnesta Hill. It's from a band called Kent. And the
Oh
reason
yeah.
I picked it today is because, well, they're from Sweden. The reason I picked it is the latest release from Of Limbo, the acoustic or unplugged record. They do Radiohead cover, Street Spirit.
Mhm.
And I thought, Jake, if you have never heard Kent, you would be into Kent if you're into that. Like the first two Radiohead records, the first two Kent records were released in the US. Everything else from them is all in Swedish. So
Hmm.
they only did their first two albums in English.
I'll have to check it out for sure.
They are killer, just
I
awesome songs. And if you're into like the Bends, then you'd be into those records.
Nice.
Hey, Scott, I believe in our circle, and don't quote me on this, and I'll check with them at practice, but I think Papa Vegas, when they went over to England, like recorded or did shows like with
That's
Kent.
how I discovered them. I saw them with Kent here in Grand Rapids.
That's what it was. Maybe they toured with
That's
them.
how I knew about Kent, was from
Yep,
Papa Vegas.
from Papa Vegas. Yeah, they're doing a reunion show this summer at some point. I know they're rehearsing for it. Speaking of which, I gotta ask you, Jake, and this would be an older band from Australia. Had you ever heard of a band called the Screaming Tribesmen?
No.
Does that name ring a bell? That
No.
was Robert Wakely's band, the one that
Oh, okay.
that toured with the Cult.
One called Screaming Jets that I think is from Australia, right? There's Screaming Trees that was grunge era here.
Yep.
And there's one called Screaming Jets from Australia.
Yeah, these guys were called like the Screaming Tribesmen, and I would put them at. Well, they toured. They were opening the Cult's Electric tour, so that was 80 something, right? 86 ish.
86, 87.
Yeah, cool band though, and I got into them because I played in a band with their bass player, who's really also was a dude who was so and you know Robert a little bit, Scott, super unassuming, like it wouldn't come up. You know, he went, oh, I played in this band, and then the next thing I knew, I'm going, shit, man, they were on the 120 Minutes MTV tour. They opened for the Cult all through Europe, and you know, he was like, I thought, you know, he's like, I was in a band. I'm like, okay, you know, cool, man, and I knew he was a great player, but yeah, Australian Cats. My NMD pick is Scott. I think you know this band. I use the album called Let's Go Scare Al by the Gear Daddies.
The Gear Daddies, yeah.
My song there's two of them. I really like a song called Statue of Jesus on there. That's a good tune. They're a Minneapolis band.
Yep.
It kind of came out with like all of those Soul Asylum and the Jayhawks and all those type of bands. The other thing is their singer, this guy named Martin Zeller. He's probably a little bit older than me. He's got a few years on me, but like went to wrestling camp with someone I knew that I wrestled with in high school, which was kind of cool. Yeah. Real Midwestern thing to do, right? Go to wrestling camp. Yeah. So I had Gear Daddy's Let's Go Scare Al. And I also have the distinction of, I'm going to publicly confess this, Scott. I was playing a gig one time, an acoustic gig, and nothing was landing. Like I was throwing everything I got, and nothing was landing. So I played Statue of Jesus by the Gear Daddies. It's so fucking obscure, right? I mean, it's obscure. So I play it, and finally people are in like, yeah, and I'm like, yeah, it's an original tune, you know. Fucking lady sitting there. What does she say? Oh, you know the Gear Daddies? Fuck. It's the one time I did it, and I got fucked on it. And the girl who also was in attendance has seen me play one time. She was in attendance. She knew the Gear Daddies, and she had worked at Believe in Music, the record store you and I worked at.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, that was a great moment in my illustrious career. Yeah. Classic merchant moment. I was pretty drunk, as I recall, too, so I'm going to give myself a little leeway there. All right. So there's our picks. Jake, definitely some interesting stuff. I wrote down a couple things. Although, Jake, is it only the Sea Slugs?
Yes, only the Sea Slugs, and the song name is Moon Park, one word.
Got it. I got it. I wrote that down, and it fits in the tent. Every time we do this.
Really, really good music video, too.
Killer. Every time we do this, I get something. I like that. All right. Well, first of all, Scott, you got any other words before we I don't want you to leave us with anything.
We can't let Jake go before we you guys toured with Faster Pussycat. What was that? We're huge fans. What was that like?
That was great. Sam Bam's out with Godsmack right now.
No kidding. How cool is that?
Yeah, that's great for him. Yeah, became really good friends with all the guys there. We've gone to just about every Faster show in Hollywood since then. Really like those guys. I know Tammy's having a tough time right now. So shout out to Tammy and hope you're getting through it, bud. But
Yeah.
we've been good friends with Danny and Chad for a while. Had quite a few little drinking nights across Long Beach and Hollywood and everything in between. So yeah, big fans of those guys, and they were nothing but fun on tour. That's for sure.
Nice.
Yeah, they are. That's one of those bands from that era for me. They were probably, if you'd have, like, for me, if you'd have put Faster Pussycat and, Guns N' Roses, I would have picked Faster Pussycat. Faster Pussycat, and even Motley. Faster Pussycat was this blues-based rock band. They sounded like there's still some Stones and Faces and Hanoi Rocks and stuff like that. I just love the band. I wasn't a huge fan when Tammy kind of started following the Marilyn Manson model there,
Newly Deads.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, dude, if you go and you watch Faster Pussycat now, definitely the live Faster Pussycat playing the Newly Dead's music is different than the recorded Newly Dead's music. And I think that some of the Newly Dead songs that Faster plays now are absolutely some of the best in their set.
Killer.
Yeah.
Well, and I'm trying to think of how I heard about like Sam Colton being in that band, other than he was obviously pretty young. And I saw some clips of them playing because we were kind of connected to them through Golden Robot. That's how I heard about it. And I'm like, that dude's gonna end up somewhere. Like, either he's gonna stay in that circle and he'll be the side guy for all those guys. And there's a few guys that do it,
Yeah.
Ace Von Johnson will pick up a lot of those gigs.
Well,
Johnny Monaco.
That's how Sam got the job, I'm pretty sure. Is
Through Ace.
Ace said he was going to go out with LA Guns, and then Faster's like, "What the fuck are you talking about? We've got a fucking tour coming up at the same time." And Ace is like, "Well, I can recommend a guy," and the guy he recommended was Sam.
Who's just a great player. He's really good to the music. Like, you can tell he's paying homage to it. He plays cool parts. He sings.
I had to call up Sam, or not call up Sam, but we had to DM Sam just the other day to work out how the fuck to hook up a talk box properly and what his talk box recommendation was.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, he pointed me in the right direction on Amazon, because we did a cover of Man in the Box the other night. And,
killer.
Yeah, so opened the set with that, and yes, it was definitely a learning experience for me to get there.
Those things are a trip, aren't they?
Yeah, weird.
Did you use one with like a separate amp and the whole thing?
No, I don't know.
Or did you use the MXR one?
It was the MXR one, and even the sort of discussion of how it all works is above my head. We let Luke and Sam, Luke's my brother, Luke and Sam discuss the ins of all that shit.
Killer. It's funny.
We had one as like a Rocktronic one, and it sounded like absolute shit.
The Banshee
recommended the MXR, and it was great.
Well, the thing with that is, like, I mean, back in the late 80s, I didn't really have a need. The only time I heard Talkbox was like on Rocky Mountain Way by Joe Walsh and Peter Frampton, Sweet Emotion. But the reason I had gotten one, the old style one, the Heil Talkbox, was for Man in the Box, covering Man in the Box, and I didn't understand it. It had you had to have two microphones back then.
Yeah, that's what
like one for your vocal, one for this thing. And then you stick the thing, and it would be so loud, it would like be rattling my teeth, like, because it's sitting in my killer, man. What fun. I love that shit.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Jake, thank you for joining us. I cannot thank you enough. I know.
Thanks for having me, boys. But hey, let me drop one more thing.
Please.
Speaking of covers, we just released a cover of Van Halen's Finish What You Started, Van Hagar. And there's a music video for it and everything. We did. Paid real homage to, paid tribute to the gods, paid homage to Sammy and fucking Eddie and the boys. So it's very much recreating their entire vision of their video, which is just them dancing around with hot babes on a white seamless. We did
Beautiful.
exactly that right here at my little home studio.
How
Yeah.
fon was that? What a
It was
great
it was a
tune.
fun time. So there's one moment when Sammy does a fucking jumping splits, and he was actually, I think I was wearing these pants. Or no,
Yes.
some very, very close to these ones. Anyway, I was wearing something close to these, and I tried the jumping splits, and the entire ass of the pants ripped out. And the rest of the video, I had to make sure I didn't turn around because my cock and balls would be hanging down low enough that if I turned around, you would see it on the camera. Like really, really bad shots that my friend Brandon, who edited it, had to go through and decide were not usable.
Yeah, assless pants. That's more your David Lee Roth era, probably.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you for doing this, Jake. Thanks for joining
Jake,
us,
thank
man.
you.
And everybody, please check that out, Of Limbo. And it's the new single right now is
Finish what you started.
Finish What You Started. The killer Van Halen.
That album kicks off with Estrada. That song is kick ass.
Nice
They do
play.
the Radiohead cover. They do Van Halen. They do. Is Alice in Chains on there, Jake?
Yeah, we do it. We do a live down in the hole in there. That's pretty good.
Oh, killer.
And apparently I fucked the lyrics up in it. Oh my god.
How dare you?
Pretty bad, dude.
And then if you grab the California Demon record, there's a unplugged of Chris Isaac's Wicked Game.
That's a great song too.
That's a live one, yeah.
Man, what great cover. The other thing that's cool is picking that Van Halen. That's a great Van Halen song to cover, but it's not covered a lot because it's hard to play.
The whole middle section. Luke took liberties with that little solo-y breakdown section. But I really love what Luke did on that. I might have taken a couple liberties of Sammy's lyrics too. I think at one point I said, "Come on, baby, it ain't gonna suck itself." What was the other one? "Come on and milk me, mama" was another.
Oh God, yeah.
As we're just freestyling it one night as recording, and every time I would say something new and crazy like that, it would make Luke laugh his ass off. So he laughed so much that we're like, oh, we've got to fucking keep that in there now. But our friend Andrew Hagar, who's Sammy's son, showed it to Sammy, and Sammy apparently loved it. So as long as we didn't anger the gods, then
killer.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure if you kept Sammy happy, you are destined for many more years of great music making. You've done your thing. Well, cool. Scott, you got any words to leave us with, bud?
It's the place dreams are made. If you just play your part, this is your big break. Hollywood Boulevard.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you all. See you guys.
Later, guys. Thank you.
Thanks, Jake.
Thanks.